Cathedral Quarter. Named after the most famous building within its boundaries, St Anne's Cathedral, the Cathedral Quarter was designated in the 1990s to revitalise the most historic part of Belfast and create a new cultural hub for the city. The regeneration of the area, which is close to such atmospheric traditional districts as Sailortown, the Half-Bap and Little Italy, has been a huge success, with many arts and crafts workshops and galleries, and even a circus school, nestling cheek by jowl amongst its cobbled streets. In the early days of Belfast, when the River Farset ran down what is now High Street, the area was a haven for sailors, whose boats were tied up nearby. The street where the captains lodged is still known as Skipper Street. The area was the centre of Belfast life in the 17th and 18th centuries, and the haunt of the social elite, revolutionaries and bohemians. Later it would be colonised by an even less socially acceptable group, journalists. Today, the area is again famous for its nightlife and cracking atmosphere. The Quarter has some of Belfast's most cutting-edge nightclubs and many of its most stylish new bars, like the quirky Spaniard and the Northern Wig, which features original statues of communist icons from the old Soviet bloc. And the site housed the offices of one of Belfast's oldest papers, the liberal unionist Northern Wig, which closed in 1962. But it also has famous traditional pubs such as the Duke of York in Commercial Court off Donegal Street, which includes images and paraphernalia from Belfast's newspaper industry, and the community-run John Hewitt, a regular venue for arts and music events. Those after a more luxurious lifestyle should seek out the five-star Merchant Hotel, which is housed in the beautiful 1860s Ulster Bank headquarters in Waring Street, once Belfast's finest commercial building. The highly ornate railings outside it feature the Red Hand of Ulster, the traditional emblem of the province. It also appears on the bank's coat of arms, which appeared on most buildings of the Ulster Bank. The adjoining building was once the Ulster Buildings, and it also features the Red Hand of Ulster. The Red Hand was the symbol of the ancient kings of Ulster, who ruled the province 2,000 years ago. Today, the building houses an opulent palace of hedonism which opened in 2006, and boasts the largest chandelier in Ireland, hanging high over the Great Room, once the main banking hall. It used to have the world's most expensive cocktail, a snip at £750, served in its grand cocktail bar. The historic Belfast Exchange was built in 1769, and the assembly rooms upstairs were added in 1776. The assembly rooms housed a famous festival for harpists in 1792, and were the main place for musical and social gatherings in the town for several decades, until the commercial buildings, now the Northern Wig, were opened around 1820. The Belfast Exchange was later converted to the Northern Bank by the architect Sir Charles Lanyon. Northern Ireland War Memorial and the Homefront exhibition in Talbot Street records the wartime heroics of local soldiers. The exhibition contains photographs, documents, uniforms and artefacts, all pertaining to the North's role in the Second World War. The Cathedral Quarter is rightly proud of the space given to the arts, with many of the city's most innovative theatre companies, such as Kibosh and Tinderbox, being housed here. Performance venues and art galleries, such as the Black Box on Hill Street and the Belfast Exposed Photography Gallery, have found a home here. A former bonded whisky warehouse, the Oh Yeah Centre is a music centre where various strands of the music industry can grow and interact. The project came together in December 2005, when Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol met with some interested parties in Belfast and resolved to create a dedicated music centre for the city. The centre features a performance space, office units, a recording studio and exhibition area with the aim to provide advice and resources to emerging music projects. Hosted in the Oh Yeah Centre, the Belfast Music Exhibition takes you on a unique journey through the glorious achievements and diverse musical talent that Northern Ireland has produced over the years. From Ruby Murray to the Undertones, Dana to Stiff Little Fingers, Van Morrison to the Divine Comedy, and right up to Ash, Snow Patrol and the DJ scene, local artists have sold over 100 million records worldwide. Among the platinum discs, autographs, vintage stage gear and film footage, you'll also find guitars used by Ash's Tim Wheeler, Snow Patrol's Gary Lightbody and Therapy's Andy Cairns. The exhibition includes an array of musical memories from the public and a timeline following the chart successes of Northern Ireland acts from the 50s to the present day. A diverse and impressive Hall of Fame. Most exciting for the fast-developing quarter will be the MAC, the new multi-million-pound dedicated arts centre to be built at the back of St Anne's Cathedral on Talbot Street, which will feature an international gallery and 2 state-of-the-art theatre spaces. This will nestle beside the University of Ulster campus, which has been attended by some of the most important artists in Northern Ireland and has been a key influence on the local music scene too. It was here in the late 80s and 90s that local boys David Holmes and Ian McCready opened Sugar Sweet, the first and most influential dance club in the modern era. Holmes is now one of the world's superstar DJs and has a handy sideline in soundtracks, being responsible for the music on Ocean's 11 and Out of Sight.
Now, the Half Bop, as far as I know, was a very tight-knit little community. And the people there, as far as we were told, during the Troubles and during the dock strike of 100 years ago, when there was no money coming in because there was no work for the men, they survived on Barney Hughes' bops, and the children were each given a half bop to keep them going. And next door to that was the area known as Little Italy, because it's simply known as Little Italy because the people who immigrated from Italy got into that area and they all stayed there. And you had violin makers, you had people like that, you had of course the ice cream people, and all those people lived in that area. Now Sealer Town and the Half Bop and Little Italy and the Cathedral area at that particular time were quite mixed areas. They were tight, hard areas. And as I was telling you, 100 years ago, on this very day, this particular place would have been swarmed by blackleggers, police, dockers, army, some of them would be trying to stop work being done, others would be trying to keep work going. The army was brought in to stop the strikers, and in fact they did. And no other country in Britain or anywhere else would have used physical force to stop what was a strike by working men. And the strike fizzled, and the man who led the strike, a man called Larkin, had actually to leave Belfast.